Good evening. Welcome back my channel. The rain falling over Genoa City felt endless. Cold droplets streaked down the windows of the penthouse as Adam Newman stood alone in the dark, staring at the city lights below. Sleep hadn't come easily in weeks. Not after everything. Not after the memories that refused to stay buried. The half-empty glass of whiskey sitting near the fireplace had gone untouched for over an hour. Adam wasn't drinking tonight. For once, he wanted to feel every emotion clearly, and that terrified him, because lately, every thought somehow led back to one person, Sally Spectra, the woman he had loved, the woman he had nearly built a fear car with, the woman who carried the deepest scar inside his heart. Ava. Even thinking her name made his chest tighten. Adam closed his eyes briefly. For one impossible second, he could almost hear a baby crying again. But the silence that followed was unbearable. His daughter was gone, and no amount of power, money, or Newman influence could change that. Suddenly, his phone buzzed across the counter. A message from Chelsea. "You okay tonight? Connor said you sounded distracted earlier." Adam stared at the text, but didn't answer immediately. How could he explain what was happening inside him? The guilt, the grief, the loneliness. Even now, months later, he still blamed himself for everything that happened to Ava. And maybe part of him always would. Another message appeared. "You don't have to go through things alone." Adam exhaled slowly and typed back. "I'm fine, just tired." A lie. A familiar one. Before he could put the phone away, another notification flashed across the screen. This one from an unknown number. "She hasn't told you yet." Adam frowned instantly. Then another message came seconds later. "Sally is pregnant." His entire body froze. For several long moments, Adam simply stared at the screen, unable to breathe. No, that couldn't be possible. Not again. Not after everything they'd been through. His pulse began pounding violently as he reread the message over and over. Maybe it was fake. A sick joke. But deep down, something inside him already knew. The timing. Sally's recent distance. Her strange emotional behavior. The cancelled meetings. The pale expression she wore earlier at society. Suddenly, every detail clicked into place. Adam grabbed his jacket instantly. Within minutes, he was driving through the storm-covered streets of Genoa City, with one thought consuming his mind. He needed answers. Now. At the same time, inside her hotel suite, Sally sat alone on the edge of the bed, clutching the pregnancy test in trembling hands. Positive. Again. Tears slid silently down her cheeks. Not because she wasn't happy, but because she was terrified. The memories came too fast. Hospital monitors, doctors rushing through hallways, Adam breaking down beside her, the devastating silence after losing Ava. Sally squeezed her eyes shut. "I can't survive that again," she whispered. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. She quickly wiped her tears away. "Come in." The door opened slowly, revealing Chloe Mitchell. One look at Sally's face told Chloe everything. "Oh no," Chloe breathed carefully. Sally handed her the test without speaking. Chloe stared at it in shock. "You're pregnant?" Sally nodded weakly. For a moment, Chloe didn't know what to say. Then she slowly sat beside her friend. "Does Adam know?" Sally immediately shook her head. "No." "Are you going to tell him?" Fresh tears filled Sally's eyes instantly. "I don't even know how." Chloe softened. "Sally, what if this destroys him?" Chloe frowned. "Why would it destroy him?" Sally laughed bitterly through tears. "Because Ava nearly destroyed both of us." The room fell silent. Even now, Ava's death remained one of the darkest tragedies Genoa City had witnessed. and nobody had ever truly recovered from it, especially Adam. Sally looked down at her stomach, emotions overwhelming her completely. "I saw the ultrasound room in my head the second I found out," she whispered shakily. "I remembered holding Ava, even though we barely had time." Chloe grabbed her hand gently. "This isn't the same pregnancy." "But what if it becomes the same story?" Before Chloe could answer, a loud knock suddenly echoed through the suite. Both women jumped. Sally frowned nervously. "Nobody else knows I'm here." The knocking came again, harder this time. Sally slowly stood and walked toward the door. The moment she opened it, Adam stood there, soaked from rain, eyes filled with panic and emotion. Sally's breath caught instantly. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Adam quietly asked, "Is it true?" Sally's face lost all color. Behind her, Chloe immediately realized what had happened. "Oh God." Adam looked directly at Sally. "You're pregnant?" Silence. Painful silence. And then Sally finally whispered, "Yes." Adam's knees nearly gave out. He stared at her as if the world around him had stopped moving. Pregnant. The word echoed endlessly inside his head. A baby. Another chance. Another risk. Another possible heartbreak. Sally's voice trembled. "I was going to tell you." "When?" Adam's tone wasn't angry. It was shattered. Sally looked away. "I didn't know how." Chloe quietly stepped toward the door. "I should go." Neither Adam nor Sally stopped her. The second the door closed behind Chloe, the room felt unbearably heavy. Adam slowly walked inside. Neither of them knew where to begin. Finally, Adam spoke again. "How long have you known?" "Only today." Adam nodded faintly, then unexpectedly laughed once, not out of happiness, out of fear. "This is insane." Sally folded her arms tightly around herself. "I know." Adam looked at her stomach briefly before quickly looking away again. The memories hit too hard. Ava. The hospital. The tiny pink blanket. Sally crying uncontrollably while he stood helpless beside her. His chest tightened violently. Sally immediately noticed the pain in his face. "Adam." He shook his head quickly. "I'm trying not to think about it." "But you are." "Yeah." His honesty broke her heart. Adam moved toward the window, struggling to breathe evenly. "When I lost Ava," he began quietly, "it felt like something inside me died with her." Sally's eyes filled instantly. "Me too." Adam swallowed hard. "I still hear doctors talking sometimes. Isn't that pathetic?" "No," Sally whispered, "because I do too." Their eyes met again, and suddenly every wall between them disappeared. Not because the pain was gone, but because they both understood it completely. Adam sat down heavily near the couch, rubbing his face with exhausted hands. "Are you scared?" Sally let out a broken laugh. "I'm terrified." He nodded slowly. "Me too." Silence settled between them again, but this silence felt different, fragile, raw. Then Adam carefully asked the question haunting both of them. "Do you want this baby?" Sally looked stunned. "Of course I do." Adam's eyes softened instantly, but the fear remained. "I just don't know if I can survive losing another child." The vulnerability in his voice shattered her, because Adam Newman rarely admitted fear to anyone, yet tonight he looked completely broken. Sally slowly walked closer. "You wouldn't be alone this time." Adam looked up at her carefully. "That's what scares me." "What does?" "Loving something that much again." The tears she'd been holding back finally fell freely. Without thinking, Adam stood and pulled her gently into his arms. And for the first time in months, neither of them tried hiding their grief. The next morning, Genoa City buzzed with its usual drama and corporate chaos. But inside Newman Enterprises, Adam couldn't focus on anything. Every file on his desk blurred together. Every meeting became background noise, because one thought consumed him completely. He might become a father again, and the possibility terrified him more than he wanted to admit. A knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in." The door opened to reveal Chelsea Lawson. She studied his expression carefully. "You look awful." Adam smirked faintly. "Thanks." Chelsea crossed her arms. "What happened?" Adam hesitated, then quietly said, "Sally's pregnant." Chelsea's eyes widened instantly. "Oh my God." Adam leaned back in his chair heavily. "Yeah." For several seconds, Chelsea simply processed the news. Then her expression softened dramatically. "How are you handling it?" Adam laughed bitterly. "I honestly don't know." Chelsea slowly sat across from him. "You still love her?" It wasn't a question. Adam looked away. "That's complicated." "No," Chelsea said gently. "It's actually very obvious." Adam sighed deeply. "I loved Ava before she was even born." Chelsea's eyes softened with sympathy. "And losing her changed you?" Adam nodded slowly. "I never stopped thinking about the life we were supposed to have." For a moment, Chelsea saw something rare in Adam. Not arrogance, not anger, just heartbreak. And it made her genuinely sad for him. "What does Sally want?" she asked carefully. "She wants the baby." Chelsea smiled faintly. "That's good." Adam remained silent too long. Chelsea frowned slightly. "What?" His voice dropped almost to a whisper. "What if history repeats itself?" The fear in his eyes was real, painfully real. Chelsea moved closer. "You can't live expecting tragedy forever." Adam shook his head. "Easy for you to say." "No," Chelsea replied softly. "Actually, it isn't." Connor's struggles had nearly destroyed her too. She understood parental fear better than most people realized. Chelsea reached for his hand carefully. "You know what I think?" Adam looked at her. "I think Ava taught you how deeply you're capable of loving someone." Emotion flashed across his face instantly. "And I think that scares you because now you know exactly how painful loss can be." Adam looked down silently. Chelsea squeezed his hand gently. "But pain doesn't mean you stop living." Her words stayed with him long after she left. Later that evening, Sally stood inside Crimson Lights, waiting nervously. She kept checking the door every few seconds. Then finally, Adam arrived. Their eyes met instantly, and somehow everything between them felt different now. More fragile, more important. Adam sat across from her quietly. "You okay?" Sally nodded faintly. "Not really." "Same." A sad smile crossed her face. At least they were honest with each other tonight. Adam glanced around the coffee house carefully before lowering his voice. "Have you seen a doctor yet?" "Appointment tomorrow." Adam nodded immediately. "I'm going with you." Sally blinked in surprise. "You don't have to." "Yes," Adam said firmly. "I do." Something in his tone melted part of her fear instantly, but another part remained terrified. "Adam." "What?" "What if seeing the ultrasound brings everything back?" He froze. Because she was right. The memories were already clawing their way to the surface. Ava's ultrasound photos still existed somewhere hidden in a drawer Adam rarely opened. He never managed to throw them away. "I don't know," he admitted quietly. Sally looked down at her coffee. "I had a dream about Ava last night." Adam's entire expression changed. "What kind of dream?" "She was older." His throat tightened instantly. "She had your eyes," Sally whispered tearfully. "And she kept laughing." Adam looked away quickly before Sally could see the emotion hitting him. Too late. She already had. You think about her every day, don't you? Sally asked softly. Yes. No hesitation, no pretending, just truth. Sally's voice cracked. So do I. For several moments they simply sat there grieving the daughter they never got to know. Then Adam quietly said something that shocked even himself. I still blame myself. Sally immediately shook her head. No, I do. It wasn't your fault. But I should have protected both of you. You couldn't stop what happened. Adam clenched his jaw tightly. That doesn't stop me from wishing I could. The raw guilt in his voice nearly destroyed her. Sally slowly reached across the table and took his hand. And this time, Adam didn't pull away. The next day at the hospital felt surreal. Every hallway triggered memories. Every monitor sound brought pain rushing back. Sally gripped Adam's hand tightly while they waited. Neither spoke much. They didn't need to. Fear filled every silent second. Finally, the nurse smiled warmly from the doorway. Sally Spectra. Sally stood immediately. Adam rose beside her. Together, they walked into the exam room, and suddenly the memories became unbearable. Adam saw flashes instantly. Sally crying years earlier, doctors whispering, machines beeping. His chest tightened so hard he almost couldn't breathe. Sally noticed immediately. Adam, I'm okay, he lied, but he wasn't, not even close. The technician prepared the ultrasound equipment carefully. You ready? She asked gently. Sally looked toward Adam nervously. He forced himself to nod. Then the screen flickered on. And suddenly, a heartbeat echoed through the room. Everything stopped. Sally burst into tears instantly. Adam froze completely. That tiny sound shattered every wall around his heart. The heartbeat was strong, fast, alive. Adam stared at the monitor in complete silence as tears slowly filled his eyes. He couldn't look away, because after all the grief, after all the darkness, there was life again. The technician smiled warmly. Everything looks healthy so far. Healthy. Adam nearly broke hearing that word. Sally squeezed his hand tightly, and for the first time since losing Ava, hope entered the room. Real hope. But hope also came with terror, because both of them knew how quickly happiness could disappear. After the appointment, Adam and Sally sat together in the hospital parking lot without speaking. Finally, Adam laughed softly through tears. I can't believe I cried. Sally smiled emotionally. You definitely cried. He shook his head. That heartbeat. His voice cracked. Sally leaned against him gently. I know. Adam wrapped an arm around her carefully, and suddenly memories of Ava no longer felt entirely devastating. Painful, yes, but also beautiful. Because for a brief moment, Ava had changed both their lives forever. She would have been amazing, Adam whispered suddenly. Sally closed her eyes. Yes. Adam looked upward toward the cloudy sky. I think part of me stopped believing I deserved happiness after we lost her. Sally turned toward him immediately. You deserve happiness. Adam gave her a sad smile. Do I? Yes. The certainty in her voice stunned him, because Adam Newman spent most of his life believing love always came with conditions. But Sally looked at him differently, even after everything, even after heartbreak. Then Sally placed his hand carefully against her stomach, and Adam's breath caught instantly. You deserve this too, she whispered. Emotion overwhelmed him completely, for the first time in years. Adam Newman allowed himself to imagine a car again, a nursery, late-night feedings, tiny footsteps through the penthouse, a child laughing, a family. And deep inside, another thought quietly formed. Maybe Ava's memory didn't have to represent only loss anymore. Maybe she could also represent the reason they learned how precious love truly was. But as Adam held Sally close in the parking lot, neither of them noticed the figure watching from across the street. A figure holding a phone, recording everything. And in Genoa City, secrets never stayed hidden for long.